Our distinguished guest today is Gerald Winkel. He is the volunteer recruiter regional manager for the American Red Cross. He's been with the Red Cross for 11 years. He's married with 2 children. He lives in Redlands, and he has assisted with over 1,000 house fire disasters. He has also been deployed across the country to assist with disasters nationwide 7 times. His presentation is Mission Impact Overview, Gerald Winkel. Gerald Winkel, Mission Impact Overview.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Want to thank the EVA, the Speakers Bureau, and Sharon for making this happen. My name is Gerald Winkel. I'm the Regional Recruitment Manager for the Red Cross. And today I just wanted to present on all the good things that the Red Cross, or to be more precise, the volunteers of the Red Cross provide every day to our communities. You probably know some things that we do already, blood, first aid maybe, water safety, but there are many, many other things that we do that most people don't know, which is good, right? That means you haven't been in a position where you needed our help. So I always joke, you know, you never want to see me at my job, because usually that means there's a disaster and I'm trying to help you. So just wanted to talk about those things today, and hopefully educate you a little bit on all the wonderful things that the American Red Cross does. Next slide, please. One of our biggest and what do you say, objective is disaster relief within the communities. And on the next slide, you will see some impressive numbers. And by the way, those are just numbers nationwide from the first quarter, our first quarter, which is July 1st through September 30th. We had over 75 big disasters, what we consider big disasters, as you can see on the map here. And believe it or not, this is a quiet year, quiet quarter. And we were pretty lucky that the hurricane season was not as active as predicted. Very lucky that a few of the storms actually veered off because before they even made landfall. And then on the wildfire side, we also dodged a bullet. It could have been much worse in California and some other areas in the West Coast. The things we do on the next slide, you'll see some other numbers. Mainly what we do in those disasters is we open up shelters to house those who don't have a place to come home to anymore. And then we feed them, of course, right? We provide meals, snacks. We also provide wraparound services, mental health services, spiritual care in those shelters, and work with partners to help everybody come along and finish that road, sometimes long road to recovery if you lost your home. It's quite an undertaking. On the next slide, I want to highlight the California wildfire response, which was very devastating, very unexpected to see a disaster like that in an urban area here in California. I'm sure you remember all the pictures of the fires here. Nobody expected something like this, and it really will probably be a big lesson for our emergency managers and how we treat wildfires and how we assess risk going forward in the future. The American Red Cross was one of the many community partners who helped those residents there, and we actually are still on the ground in terms of long-term recovery, providing financial aid and some other services for that as well. The next slide, I want to talk about the things, or one thing that most people actually, luckily they don't know about, that is happening often, but the most requested service from the Red Cross is actually responding to a single family home fire. And here in Southern California, on average, the Red Cross gets called out to 2 of those situations every day, where people are displaced. On the next slide, I have some other statistics there. What we do in those cases where the residence is not able to go back to their house, we get called out by the fire department for assistance. And typically within an hour, we send a team of trained volunteers to help out with financial material aid. And they can also facilitate mental health, and spiritual care as well, and provide additional things that the household needs. In regards to preparedness, we have a campaign on the next slide, talks about our home fire campaign, which we started in 2014, and the goal is to diminish or to minimize the fatalities due to home fires. And I'm happy to say that ever since 2014, we have recorded over 2,500 lives that were saved because of the installation of smoke alarms. And yeah, it is sometimes shocking. We have events where we have those installation events where we go on communities, invite partners to install those smoke alarms. And I'm always surprised how many residences don't have working smoke alarms. They think they're working, and then we take them off. There's not even a battery in there. So luckily, we can provide them for free throughout the nation. We do this program, and if you ever in need of a smoke alarm, call your local Red Cross chapter. You can make an appointment to get those installed. Probably one of the highlights of my Red Cross career was that we had a fire in Palm Springs, and as soon as I pulled in, I recognized the neighborhood and the mobile home park because we were there 2 years ago, actually installing the smoke alarms, which allowed the residents to make it out unharmed. That was really great. That's worth it right there. On the next slide, I just want to talk a little about the international services that the American Red Cross does. There's the umbrella of the International Federation of the Red Cross that deals with all the international conflicts. But as a national society, the American Red Cross, as you can see on the next slide, also provides support, mostly financial support, to other countries that are in need of some knowledge or financial aid. We typically do not deploy internationally. Those are really subject matter experts in communications or in cash voucher programs. So it's not as many folks as one would expect, but there's an opportunity for international deployments as well. On the next slide, one special disaster response was when we, as the American Red Cross, actually provided help to the Canadian Red Cross when they had their very devastating wildfires on tribal lands earlier this year. And usually it's the other way around. They come to help us. So it was nice to see that we could return the favor. And we had many volunteers deployed there to provide shelter support. Even from our area here, San Bernardino and Riverside County, they got out there and spent 3 weeks to help the population there. Another thing that you probably are very well accustomed to is the blood supply. The American Red Cross provides 40% of the nation's blood supply. On the next slide, again, just some numbers. We collect whole blood, we collect platelets and plasma, and then we make this available to our partner hospitals. We collect them in blood drives. So we're always looking for partners who can host those blood drives to make this happen. And over the last year, we focused, we have a new initiative that talks about sickle cell. On the next slide, there's some information on it. Sickle cell is an immune disease that is very devastating. And it's really hard to find the right blood product for those who are affected by it. So we're trying to diversify our donor base so we have more to select from and find more matches for those instances. Yeah, this is a great program. The next slide, we talk about our support for military and veterans family. We are usually represented on every military base that is out of states. For our area here, we actually partner with a camp in Kuwait. Right now, we are collecting care packages for them and hoping to send it to them. We're aiming for 1,000 to make their holidays a little bit brighter when they're away from home. On the next slide, again, some statistics about all the impact that our volunteers again provide. Right now, we have 19 locations abroad in those camps. One of the most requested service here is actually the need of emergency communications. When they are deployed, when they're in the battlefield, especially, it's not like they can pick up the phone and communicate with their family members, right? And vice versa, family cannot communicate with the soldiers. So the Red Cross is actually has the task or the privilege, I should say, to facilitate this communication with the command. And we have caseworkers who make this happen. So, for example, if there's an emergency stateside, usually it's somebody's about to die or so. We're trying to get the service member back to the States before they pass away, so they have a chance to say goodbye. And then we also provide financial assistance to them to make this return happen. Could be also births and some other instances where the service member is needed back home. On the next slide, the last service department we have is training services. On the next slide, I highlighted some numbers in regards, one back, yeah, about the life-saving first aid, CPR, and AED training. We do this throughout the nation, where we provide the certification course. Our disaster services actually came up with a class we can offer for free. It's a 30-minute workshop. It's called Hands-Only CPR. It just focuses on the most important part of CPR, the compressions. And we are able to do this for free, so it's a nice refresher or a nice course to bring in the basics, the most important part of the whole CPR cycle. Of course, water safety and babysitting, those are also different aspects of our safety programs that we provide to the community every day. On the next slide, the final slide, I wouldn't do my job right as a recruiter if I didn't want to offer you the chance to volunteer with the Red Cross. So we have many volunteer opportunities that will fit every schedule, and we work in every community. Of course, want to encourage you to give blood if you're able to, or if not, maybe host a blood drive for your organization or your employer. And also invite you to one of those sound alarm campaigns where we go out in communities and install those alarms. You don't necessarily have to climb on the ladder and install them. We also provide education to the household. So this is a nice day where we start at 8 o'clock, do a little bit of training, and then at 9 we go out in the community, be back by 12 for lunch and save some lives. It's a really fun event. And with that, I made it in time. Yes.
Talking about the volunteers, as a retired teacher, I'm still very interested in young people. Do you have any high school age, under 18 volunteer opportunities?
Yeah, absolutely. We love our youth, and we actually have a program. It's called Red Cross Youth Clubs that we try to establish in every high school, just like all the other clubs that are out there. We're promoting leadership skills. We talk about international humanitarian law with the students, disaster preparedness, blood drives, all those things. They kind of create like their own organization there with the president, secretary, and treasurer. And that's how we try to hook them early. And a lot of them actually stayed on or even became employees after. Yeah.
Continuation schools where we were anyway, kids could get actually some academic credit for a certain amount of time put in as a volunteer.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The community, the club activity counts as community hours, so they can take this for their resumes, for their college application, and we also allow them to get CPR certified for free, which is a nice benefit. Yeah.
Wonderful. Is there a question online? We'd like to have the online people participate as well. We had a question here from Tom. Any questions from our audience online? Any additional questions out here? I have a quick question for you. I'm not sure if it's quick. In Latin America, I'm from Mexico, as you might know. In Latin America, sometimes the Red Cross is misunderstood because it might be affiliated with the government. And so can you talk a little bit about the image of the Red Cross, maybe in other countries, but clearly you're representing a very good, wholesome image of the Red Cross in the US. So thank you for your work. But can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you, Sharon. So every national society is independent from the international network. And the services that each national society renders could vary widely. It's not uncommon in most countries that the American Red Cross is part of the healthcare system, especially when it comes to ambulance services. I'm from Germany, as you probably can tell, not hiding it too well. The Red Cross is actually one of the ambulance providers of the nation. In Mexico, for example, the Mexican Red Cross is trained in search and rescue. So they have a much deeper impact in the emergency response framework for each country. In Japan, for example, they run the whole national healthcare system. So it just depends. Some other countries, they may not offer any of the services, but with the differences, everybody thinks, or a lot of folks thinks that when they come to another country, that the national society there of the Red Cross provides the same services. So when we try to reach out to immigrant communities out here in the States, we sometimes have the challenge that they think the American Red Cross is a government agency. And especially for those who are undocumented, there's some hesitance, lately a very big hesitance and resistance sometimes even, that they want to engage with us. And one of our missions is always to let them know we don't care about anybody's immigration status, or we just help everyone. If you need help, we don't care where you're from or who you are. We just help them, and we don't collect any of the information. So even if the government would ask us for that information, we just don't have it. And because a lot of the immigrant communities out here in Southern California are from Southern America, Central America, we have this resistance there, and that's one of the challenges we all constantly try to work against there.
Well, you're doing a great job preparing that image here. So thank you very much for everything you do.
Thank you. Excellent.